As a mental health worker or someone affected by mental health issues, what is one thing you would want to say to educate people about mental health and to lessen the stigma and shame surrounding it? Something to help with the stigma? Most people don't see mental illness until it has manifested itself outwardly. You know, the homeless guy yelling at a trash can type of thing. Realize that you are looking at the extreme end. Thinking that is what mental illness is like thinking someone with 90% of their skin scorched off is what a burn looks like. We know we are acting irrational, but it's not something we could help. Especially if it's something like PTSD or anxiety. Some days are just harder than others, but that doesn't mean we aren't trying. Just being there for us is enough, and we appreciate it so much. The worst part of when I have a panic anxiety attack is knowing that I'm thinking and acting incredibly irrationally. I know that it doesn't make sense. I ducking no. I keep repeating to myself over and over and over that, I'm okay, just breathe, I'm okay. But even though I'm telling myself that, another part of my brain is going, dude, get the fuck out of here right now, no, not that way, sit down, stand up, sit down, fuck it, run, get out of here, you're going to fucking die right now. I know how ridiculous it is to think that just because I'm in a room with a lot of people or the passenger seat of a car. But knowing it's irrational doesn't stop my brain from yelling at me. After many years free of them, I had the worst panic attack I've ever suffered about 2 months ago. Went from being fine to feeling totally unable to breathe within 10 minutes, simply because I went to bed. I'd been having a lot of nightmares that week. It was so bad that I had my partner call an ambulance, and even though they strongly suspected it was indeed a panic attack as I had indicated, they transported me to hospital. My partner had never seen me like that, so was obviously concerned, but also super supportive. All the tests confirmed the suspicion, I wasn't dying. But duck, it sure felt like I was. Brain said nah, you're good, body said fuck you. I have PTSD from childhood abuse and trauma, and just 2 nights ago had the worst flashback I've ever had. My partner and I had been fighting and I was crying, and he laid across me to try and comfort me, but for the first time, it sent me back to when I was like 12 and my father was holding me down and beating me until I couldn't breathe from crying, and I hit my boyfriend to get him off of me and proceeded to curl up into the fetal position and sob and scream in pain and panic for at least half an hour. I knew and told him that it was a flashback right before it took control, but my mind and body were stuck in an endless loop of reliving that experience over and over until my boyfriend managed to bring me back. I had something similar happen and I still feel really bad. I don't know if I have PTSD, but I was abused pretty badly by my mother. She would frequently grab my arm, slap me, drag me by my hair, strangle me, etc. pretty much every day. Just really violent until I left home. About 1.5 years ago, my boyfriend and I had been arguing, and he grabbed a hold of my left arm to tell me, let's stop this, I love you. And in an instant, without thinking, I swung my other arm and hit him and ended up curled in a ball with a panic attack. I've talked to a therapist about it and she insisted that it was a reaction from all the trauma I grew up with, because any time I ever was grabbed, it led to something really bad. And even though I knew my boyfriend wasn't hurting me and wasn't about to, my brain reacted defensively. He was mostly understanding after, but I still feel terrible about it. I'm ducking trying. As someone with bipolar, I always compare it to diabetes. It's a lifelong condition, usually managed by medication, though occasionally people manage without. The medication isn't always perfect, so you have to let those around you know the warning signs. If you stop taking your meds suddenly, you will have serious problems and may embarrass yourself in public. Sadly, I've recently had to add an extra section to my explanation as part of an apology. If you're a diabetic in hospital waiting for your foot to be amputated, even if you took your meds perfectly, you get limited sympathy if you spent every weekend stuffing yourself with cake. For bipolar, the equivalent tends to be booze, drugs, and goddamn is the level of substance abuse high amongst us. You can't just tell a depressed person to go out and talk to people and have some fun. Depression kills the will to do anything. Yeah, but if you did go outside you'd feel better, so it's your fault. Edit, Andier first silver, the. What do you have to be sad about? There is light in my home, I see stars in the sky, I feel sadness in my heart, but why? Seems like I live a good life, seems that everything's right, I feel sadness in my heart, but why? It's from a Russian song called Sadness, Kino, Pekel. Edit, thanks for the silver Amushkasovkurlin. Light bulbs are getting dimmy, interests are starting to wane. I'm told it's everything a man could want and I shouldn't complain. Raconteurs, consoler of the lonely. I feel like it describes the feeling perfectly. As someone who struggles with PTSD, I would like to say that I don't choose to be as repetitive and exhausting as I can be. I will react the same way to the same situation because that is an association that has been with me for half my life. It's very difficult to keep opening up to friends without feeling like a burden because you cannot cope with the same thing as last week. They have heard me talk about it so often and given me several pieces of advice on it, and I hate feeling like this broken record, but to me that is a core part of this disorder. Edit, obligatory thanks for the first Reddit Gold. Also, thank you so much for your responses. I've been reading all of them during breaks and try to respond here and there. Feeling like a burden, this is a big one for me. My partner is the only one that I really open up to about my illness and my emotional issues that come with it. Every time I get over one thing, I shift that pain to something else. I feel like it's exhausting for him. But feeling like a burden is a symptom of my depression. The more I push that fact, the more I believe him when he says that I'm not bothering him with it. That feeling is what he's helping me try to fix. Even if your friends think that you come to them with the same things, I'm absolutely sure that they don't see you as a burden. You're a friend in need. Edit, to everyone going through the same thing, remember that your illness is real. What you're going through is real. There are countless people having the same problems, and yet every one of you is different. Giving a name to my struggles gave me something to work against. It made it tangible. Find something that makes it real for you and do your best to take steps and be conscious about your illness. May not work for everyone, but I figured I'd try to share what helped me. Edit 2, thank you for my first gold, stranger. For that I'll be donating to the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation. Charity needs your money more than Reddit does. You're dealing with people who are essentially running with one leg in a two-legged race. The bar for success for the mentally ill is much different than everyone else. For instance, someone suffering from severe depression making it to old age is sometimes a great feat. It certainly kills many before they get there. Edit, to all of you who have replied and I cannot answer, cheers to you for getting up and doing what you need to do to get through another day. I know it's hard. I know it's thankless. I know it seems pointless, but you've achieved more than you think and can keep achieving more. Congratulations on what you've accomplished so far. We know that sometimes you don't understand us, but please consider that sometimes we don't understand either. As hard as it is for you, imagine how hard it is for the person suffering through it. I don't know why I have to flatten out every single wrinkle in the sheet before I sleep, and I know my boyfriend is tired and wants to go to bed too, but if I don't, I won't be able to sleep and will be itchy all night. We're doing our best, please just be patient with us. Sometimes we don't understand either. To add to this, it's great that people want to help, but frequently we have no idea how to help us, so we don't really have an answer when they ask what can I do to help? Edit, added missing how? Yes, exactly. Thankfully my SO has come to learn that the best way to help is to help me do whatever task I'm trying to complete, such as getting all the wrinkles out of the sheets. Most of the time, I know what I'm doing is unnecessary and I don't want to be doing it, but my brain is forcing me. Getting it done as quickly as possible so I can move on and stop thinking about it, is usually the only way I can be helped. This is how I am with my wife. Early on I always wanted to help by trying to cheer her up on her dark days. What I've learned is the best way to help is to do things she wanted or was trying to do. This could be as simple as doing the dishes or some laundry, or making a phone call to her credit card company on her behalf. It seems to me that helps more than being there and trying to fix her mental state. Edit, obligatory first silver. Edit 2, obligatory 2 golds. Thank you all for your feedback and comments. Yes, 100%. Because there really is no fixing my mental state, at least not that my SO can do. When I have a compulsion, I just have to do it sometimes. A lot of my compulsions deal with cleaning. As soon as I come in my door my brain gives me a list of things I need to deal with before I can relax. If I try to sit down and try to without doing them, I'm basically wasting my time, because in the back of my mind I have things making me uncomfortable and at that point there is no stress relief. It's really helpful to have a partner that understands that if they do some of the stuff on my mental list, then I can get through them and relax quicker is super helpful. I feel like a burden when he helps so much though. Ha! I'm sure your wife is as grateful for you as I am my partner.